Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Francisco. I'm a professional musician, guitarist, and educator. And in this video, we're going to be discussing 3 things that will make you instantly a better musician and improviser. They're mostly based on improvisation. But these are things that are so foundational that I think almost guarantee your success as an improviser, or guarantee that you will develop a successful approach as an improviser if you work hard on them. These are things that are rare, even in settings, like music college, jazz education in general. You got to find the right people to hear about this. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into the first one here. Number 1, improvisation doesn't come from anything else but rhythm. Improvisation has to come from rhythm. Let's say you're transcribing that Miles solo, you're obsessed with that lick that Miles played on that chord, right? You're getting the notes, you obsess over it, you learn the notes. What is it that he's playing? What is he playing? A chord substitution there? All that stuff is great. Good, learn it. The truth is, though, if your rhythms are not as good as Miles's on that solo, your solo won't sound that good. You can get the best notes, you can get the best chord substitutions, the best scales, whatever you want. But if you don't know how to create lyrical, strong, rhythmic statements, your solo is not going to sound good as Sonny's solo, okay? Sonny Rollins, Coltrane, Freddie Hubbard, Jim Hall, you name it. You got to become a strong, rhythmic improviser. If you transcribe any West solo and just leave the rhythms alone, you see that the solo is already strong rhythmically. The spacing, everything makes sense. Like the rhythm has a melody to it. So that's number 1. You got to become a strong improviser. My advice is when you transcribe something, transcribe the rhythm of it. Sing the rhythms and just embody the whole solo only through rhythm first. And then when you're ready, okay, learn the notes. And here I'm not saying that learning the right notes and working on note choice is not important. Obviously, that's also important. But if you don't have the strong rhythmic and lyrical foundation of rhythm that these guys have, your solos are not going to sound as good. They won't sound good. Okay? So rhythm is so strong that you can just play random notes in a solo with good rhythms, and your solo will sound like you're playing something hip. People will say like, oh, what's that? Hopefully, this is obviously subjective. But to give you an example, I'm going to solo over a blues using random notes. But I'm going to focus on creating lyrical rhythms. Random notes. I have no idea what I was playing, but I was definitely sure of the rhythms I was playing. They were completely intentional, and I was trying to play lyrical stuff. I was leaving space between my phrases. I was responding to my antecedent phrases, call and response, blah blah blah. All of that without getting too extensive here. All I'm trying to say is, you have to be a strong rhythmic player first. And my advice is go ahead and transcribe the rhythm of that solo first, and then deal with the notes. We put notes on rhythm and not the other way around. Okay, so that's number 1. That I don't think there's enough emphasis on that in general. In music education, you have to be a really, really good rhythmic player first before anything else. Number 2, the best improviser is not whoever has the most stuff to play. It's not whoever has all the scales, knows all of the language, all of the chords, subs, all of the solos. No. The best improviser is whoever has one thing but can create a million other things based on that thing. We call this the mechanism of variation. The best improviser has the best mechanism of variation skills. You get one little thing, you don't have anything else, but you can make 10 other things based on that. Okay? Basically, that means if you transcribe something, you got to think, what else is that 10 times? It's not about, I'm going to go get more licks and then learn more notes and phrases, whatever. No, it's about you learn something you really like of a solo by whoever. And then you study it, study the rhythm, the notes, what notes are being emphasized on that chord, blah, blah, blah. But then you got to go, what else is it 10 times? And there I'm just changing the notes, right? I could also change the rhythm. I could change the direction of the phrase. Something based around the original phrase, but that goes in the opposite direction. So many things, to try to make that little thing you learn something new. And the point you want to get is boredom. You want to get bored of the idea, and you want to feel that it's impossible to come up with another variation. That's the point where you start getting better as an improviser, because you're going to start thinking there has to be one more way, and then you push yourself to find another variation. That is the best improviser, is whoever has the best skill on creating variations of an idea. Okay, that's why I'm a really big fan of alternate takes when I listen to jazz records, because you can hear these master improvisers on the same day, pretty much like a few minutes later after the first take, right? Take another solo on the same song and come up with completely different ideas. And then you get into their heads and I'm like, okay, here's how this person is approaching soloing on this song, because he was playing this in the first take, but now he's doing this. It's kind of similar, but a little different, etc. My favorite one to check out, of course, is Wes. In my opinion, Wes was the most talented improviser of all. So anyway, so that's number 2. Develop the mechanism of variation. Number 3, as an improviser or a musician, right? I'm talking mostly about improvisation here, but this is all for all music. Improvisation is like frozen improvisation, in my opinion. When you improvise, it's liquid. Number 3, you don't play the same changes as the rhythm section as an improviser. You play completely different changes. What this means is that if the rhythm section is playing a C chord, a C major 7, right? As an improviser and soloist, you don't play C major 7. You're going to play E minor. You're going to play over E minor. That is because you got to learn what chords have to teach you about where the sweet notes are. You got to understand that in a band, everything works just as a tree. You have the trunk, right, which is, let's say the roots are the drums. The trunk is the bass. And then the sweet stuff, the leaves and the fruits, those are the solos. So what you have to play is the sweet sounding stuff. This can change depending on what style you're playing, obviously, right? But what I'm trying to say is you don't play the root as a soloist all the time. You don't play the third as a soloist all the time. I mean, these notes are important. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just trying to say that there are notes that you definitely have to try to play that are not part of the rhythm section, set of chords. The way you discover this is by looking at chords. You have a C major 7 chord, right? Well, you learn that a C major 7 chord has an E minor chord built in it, and it doesn't have the root. The root is redundant. It's being played by the bass, right? So if I play the E minor notes, Not even playing C, which is the root of the C major chord. Just playing over E minor. There I was playing C to show you the context, right? But everything else is based on E minor. That way I'm immediately hitting sweet sounding notes. Okay? Because the soloist doesn't play the same changes as the rhythm section. If you have a 2-5-1, D minor, G7, and then C major 7, you don't play D minor, G7, and C major 7. You play F major because the sweet notes and the sweet top of the chord in D minor, what the chord has to teach you by getting rid of the root and seeing what's there, is an F chord. F major 7, if you're playing this voicing. Every voicing has something different to teach you. This one is teaching me that I have to play F major 7. Then when I play this, I learned that, oh, that's an E major triad. And then I have this chord, which is teaching me E minor. So my changes, the changes for the soloist, are going to be F major 7, E major, and E minor. It's not going to be D minor, G7, and C major. Those are the rhythm changes, the rhythm section changes, sorry. My changes are F major 7, E major, and E minor, which makes things a lot simpler, and it makes things easier to play well, right? Because you're immediately tapping into the best sounding stuff. E major to E minor, that's one note of a difference, and you're going to be hitting the best sounding stuff. So there I'm playing over a 2-5-1, right? D minor, which I'm playing F major 7. That's E. And then E minor. Etc. So again, you don't play the same changes as the rhythm section. This is something that sometimes, in music education and more than sometimes, most times, you do the whole opposite. You have D minor 7. Let's learn the D Dorian scale. But you're learning to play, if you do that, you're learning to play an extremely watered down version of what D minor really is. Okay? You gotta go to the top of the chord and see what are the sweet sounding notes. Yes, the chord tones obviously are important. These are the notes that, outline the chord changes. But I'm talking in general, as a soloist, once you go past those foundational things, you have to understand you don't play the same changes. Okay? Miles is not playing the same changes as Herbie's playing. He's playing other stuff, right? Anyway, so those are the three things. Just to recap, number 1, improvisation comes from rhythm. One thing I actually forgot to say about number 1 is that also rhythm is the only way you can create infinite variations of something. Rhythms are independent of melody and harmony. You can come up with infinite rhythmic statements and variations of those statements. Melody needs obviously rhythm and pulse. Harmony does too. Rhythm does need pulse, but that's the only thing. Anyway, so to recap, number 1, become a rhythmic improviser. That's how you start sounding good. It's not the notes, it's the rhythm. Number 2, the best improviser is whoever knows how to create infinite variations of one little thing. Get bored with one thing and push yourself to create a new thing with that. And number 3, you don't play the same changes as the rhythm section. You got to learn how to see the top of the chord and voice lead the top sounds to come up and play the best sounding stuff possible on those changes. Okay. So anyway, I hope the video was helpful. I hope you're going to get something out of it at whatever level you are. I think these are things that are important to hear. Because even if you're a beginner, this improviser, you can definitely learn that, on C major, I could play E minor, and then you immediately sound better by doing that. Anyway, so that's all for today's video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Please like and subscribe if you liked it, and that's it. See ya.